You press your mouth against another human mouth, exchange breath, trade saliva, and somehow civilization calls this romance. Think about that for a second. If an alien landed on Earth and saw two people kissing, it would not immediately think, "Ah yes, love." It would think, "Why are those two mammals gently trying to eat each other's faces?" And honestly, fair, because kissing is weird. Your mouth is not a clean, symbolic gateway to the soul. It is a warm biological cave full of bacteria, enzymes, old food molecules, suspicious smells, and whatever you had for lunch but are pretending is no longer involved. And yet humans have turned this extremely questionable mouth activity into one of the biggest symbols of love, desire, goodbye, reunion, marriage, betrayal, movie endings, and terrible decisions made after midnight. But here is the problem. Kissing is not obviously useful. It does not feed you. It does not keep you warm. It does not scare away predators. From a survival point of view, kissing looks like a great way to catch someone else's disease while standing much too close to their teeth. So why did humans start kissing? The answer is older, stranger, and far less romantic than you think. Let us start with the thing most people get wrong. Kissing is not universal. That sounds impossible if you grew up surrounded by movie kisses, wedding kisses, airport kisses, prom kisses, awkward teenage kisses, and that one couple in public who clearly believes the sidewalk is a private emotional theater. But anthropologists who looked at 168 cultures found evidence of romantic or sexual kissing in only about 46% of them. In other words, more than half of the cultures in that sample had no clear evidence of romantic mouth kissing at all. Some people found the practice amusing, some found it childish, some found it disgusting, which, again, if you describe it honestly, is not an unreasonable position. Imagine explaining kissing to a society that does not do it. So when two adults are attracted to each other, they put their mouths together. Why? To show love. What else do they exchange? Saliva. And everyone is okay with this. Usually, yes. So kissing is not just an automatic human reflex like blinking or sneezing. Culture matters a lot. But that does not mean kissing is purely invented either. Because when scientists look beyond modern humans, the story gets much older. The oldest written evidence for kissing takes us back to ancient Mesopotamia, around 4,500 years ago. Not a modern romance novel, not a movie scene. Clay tablets. People in Mesopotamia wrote in cuneiform, pressing wedge-shaped marks into wet clay. And in those tablets, researchers have found kissing described as part of romantic intimacy, but also as something that could happen between friends and family members. That matters because for a long time, many people pointed to South Asian texts from around 3,500 years ago as the earliest clear evidence for kissing. The Mesopotamian material pushes the written record about 1,000 years further back. But here is the important part. That does not mean Mesopotamians invented kissing. It just means Mesopotamians wrote things down on clay, and clay is extremely good at surviving. A kiss does not fossilize. Saliva does not politely wait 100,000 years for an archaeologist. A prehistoric couple does not leave behind a tiny label saying, "This is where the awkward first kiss happened." So when we find kissing in writing 4,500 years ago, we are not seeing the beginning. We are seeing the moment the behavior finally became visible to history. The real origin may go much deeper. In 2025, researchers at the University of Oxford tried to answer a much bigger question: is kissing older than humans? To do that, they had to define kissing very carefully. They were not talking about feeding, biting, licking, or animals accidentally bumping faces. They defined a kiss as non-aggressive mouth to mouth contact that does not involve food transfer. Then they looked across primates and mapped kissing behavior onto the primate family tree. Chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, and other primates show mouth contact behaviors that fit or resemble this definition. The researchers then used evolutionary modeling to estimate when this trait may have appeared. Their result was genuinely strange. Kissing may have evolved in the common ancestor of humans and other large apes roughly 21.5 to 16.9 million years ago. That is before Homo sapiens, before Neanderthals, before agriculture, before writing, before anyone had the emotional vocabulary to say, "I think this relationship needs clearer communication." If the model is right, kissing is not just a romantic human invention. It is an ancient primate behavior that survived through millions of years, changed meaning again and again, and eventually got dressed up in perfume, poetry, dating apps, and very dramatic background music. So what was kissing originally for? One possibility is grooming. Primates bond by grooming each other. They pick through hair, clean skin, remove debris, and occasionally deal with parasites, which is friendship at its most practical and least glamorous. Grooming is not just hygiene, it is politics. It says, "I trust you. I am not attacking you. Please remember this later when food, status, or violence becomes relevant." A 2024 paper proposed what it called the groomer's final kiss hypothesis. The idea is that kissing may come from the final mouth contact stage of grooming. When an ape used protruded lips to remove debris or a parasite from fur or skin, then humans lost most of their fur, which was inconsiderate from a grooming perspective. Less fur meant less need for long grooming sessions. But the final little mouth contact gesture may have remained, detached from its original cleaning job and repurposed as a signal of closeness. Another possibility is infant feeding. Before blenders, baby spoons, and tiny jars of carrot paste, adults in many human societies softened food by chewing it first, then passing it to infants mouth to mouth. Not romantic, practical, but the mouth became associated with care, warmth, safety, and trust. There is also a more uncomfortable theory. Kissing may be inspection. Your face is packed with information: breath, smell, skin, saliva, warmth, stress, health, familiarity. At close range, another human body becomes a messy little data set. This person is sick or healthy, calm or nervous, familiar or strange, attractive or not. Their breath is making claims their personality may not support. Some scientists have suggested that kissing may help humans gather chemical and sensory information about a potential partner. The evidence is complicated, and nobody should pretend the mouth is a perfect biological compatibility scanner. But the basic idea is powerful. Attraction is not just visual. Your body reads smell. Your nervous system reads proximity. Your brain reacts before your polite conscious mind can prepare a press release. So a kiss may be part affection, part trust test, part sensory investigation, and part ancient ape behavior wearing modern clothes, which makes the romantic kiss look less like pure poetry and more like quality control with candles. Do I love you? Maybe. Does your mouth make my nervous system lean forward or quietly file a complaint? Also important, human romance is beautiful. It is also deeply weird when you explain it honestly, and the risk is real. Kissing can spread pathogens. That is part of why it presents such an evolutionary puzzle. You are taking a behavior with obvious disease risk and asking why so many people attached intimacy, desire, and affection to it. Ancient Mesopotamian medical texts describe mouth and throat diseases, and some researchers have discussed whether kissing might have helped certain infections move through populations. We have to be careful here, because ancient disease descriptions are not modern lab reports. But the broader point is obvious. Once humans started kissing, microbes received a very convenient transportation network. Romance, as usual, arrived with side effects. This may help explain why kissing did not become universal everywhere. In some cultures, the risks, meanings, or social rules may have pushed people toward other forms of intimacy: hugging, touching, nose rubbing, shared space, shared food, grooming, or simply standing very close without turning the face into a moisture-based handshake. Humans do not need kissing to love. But when a culture does adopt kissing, it can become incredibly powerful. A kiss can mean desire, family affection, religious devotion, political loyalty. Apology, submission, betrayal, or performance. Same basic gesture. Completely different sentences. That is the human part. We took an old primate behavior and turned it into language. So why did humans start kissing? Probably not for one reason. It may have roots in grooming. It may have borrowed emotional power from infant feeding. It may help with smell, taste, trust, arousal, bonding, and social signaling. It may be ancient biology filtered through culture until some societies made it central, and others looked at it and said, very reasonably, absolutely not. The honest answer is messy, but maybe that is why kissing feels so human. It is messy. It is germs and poetry, biology and culture, inspection and surrender. A disease risk that somehow became a love symbol, an ancient ape signal wearing modern perfume. And the next time you see two stick figures lean toward each other under a cartoon moon, remember what is actually happening. Millions of years of primate history are compressing into one tiny, ridiculous, high-risk gesture. Two faces are closing the distance. Two nervous systems are asking a question older than language. Are you safe? Are you mine? Should we keep doing this? And then, because humans are humans, someone ruins the moment by asking, was that weird? Yes, it was always weird. That was the whole point.